I am your true Nikola Tesla. And I'm not even a scientist.
Well, hold on just a second, sir, because you're giving off minimum 1 to 2 doctorate vibes right there. Come on, you're telling me you're not a scientist? No, that's Kanye West, and of course, he went on Tucker Carlson to deliver insane nuggets like that. But what he was brought on was to talk about the White Lives Matter thing. That's why Tucker wanted him there to just deliver for his white supremacist audience the talking points they want. Here you go.
You made reference to the White Lives Matter t-shirt which you brought out at Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, and what did it mean?
You know, I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct, a connection with God, and just brilliance. You know, like as if you ask like Tanya Harding how she did the triple flip or the triple spin.
Yeah. Nailed it. The triple axel. Anyway, okay, so I can't get into Kanye West's mind, and if I could, I would not. But so I don't know exactly why he chose to wear it or whatever. Maybe so that he could go on to Tucker Carlson's show. Maybe to get attention. I don't know. The choice to have Candace Owens there with him doing it, I know why she did it. That one's a little bit easier to read. And I know why Tucker Carlson is excited about that. I know why he put on his faux gravitas quasi-journalist voice. Now, why did you do that? What was that about? As if they haven't already talked about this. Everything, it's so artificial, it's so fake. But anyway, we've got other, perhaps even crazier stuff to get to, but on the matter of the shirt, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm gonna be perhaps even a little bit more insulting to Kanye than I normally am, so buckle up, brace for impact. So normally I call him crazy, he's got mental health issues, he should get therapy, etc. But having watched all the clips they released of that interview, I actually think like he partially sounded crazy, but less so that, more just deeply unintelligent. So, and that's a tough thing to say about a person, but we have to be honest because he's influencing people. So if he was in his cave and he was deeply unintelligent, okay, no problem, have at it, Hoss, right? But he's out in the public sphere trying to influence people in a certain direction. So for example, like, does he understand the context of White Lives Matter? Later in that clip, he talked to Tucker Carlson about how his dad laughed that he wore the White Lives Matter t-shirt. I don't know his relation with his dad, I don't care. But when asked why were they laughing, he's like, well, it was funny because it's so obvious that White Lives Matter. Kanye, that's not the issue. Everybody thinks that every life matters, including white people's lives. Of course. No, the issue is it's a juxtaposition to Black Lives Matter, and it's phrased that people who don't think that police are actually abusing black people and that the authorities shouldn't care about black lives, and that's not an actual phenomenon, police abuse of black Americans, wear shirts and say things like White Lives Matter as a way to insult Black Lives Matter. But you see, that takes like a tiny bit of nuance to understand. I mean, a tiny fraction of intelligence and nuance and context, the ability to understand context. I don't think Kanye has it. I just think he's just not bright. And so, when he says like, oh, I did it because I had a feeling. Well, I believe that. The feeling was, I need attention. I need attention. The only thing he understands is if he wears that shirt, he's gonna get a ton of attention, right? But then he has the extra arrogance, aided and abetted by everyone around him, and apparently a lot of media. Genius. I mean, we hear this about Kanye all the time. And there's no question he's bought into it. He's drank his own Kool-Aid. Why did I wear a shirt that's deeply offensive to other black Americans? Brilliance. No, he's just a dumbass, and that's the harshest truth of all. But it's indisputable.
Yeah, I will say Kanye's dad was a Black Panther, so I think the chances that he was laughing at Kanye as opposed to like along with him are pretty high. But I will also just say, Kanye has bipolar disorder and he doesn't take his medication because he says that it zaps his creativity. And that's something I've been extraordinarily sympathetic to. My dad is a musician. My dad has bipolar disorder, and he always talks about how since he's been medicated, he's not able to write music anymore. And that's been really, really hard for him. So I've been sympathetic to that in the past. But when it comes to things like this, blaming it on, his mental illness is it's absurd. I mean, Kanye has done and said heinous, horrific things in the pursuit of, his fame, continued attention by the media. And of course, some of it is just bigotry. Not this instance, we'll get into some other stuff, but like it's not, you can't always just put it off to his mental illness. Like it's just absurd. And the White Lives Matter shirt, of course, is just, he was not in the media cycle enough recently. So let's do something to get on the news, to get people talking, to maybe to get Kim's attention,
Oh, geez. Yeah, and look, I'll say what I largely said when he first wore the shirt. Like I said, I know that we're supposed to be offended by this, and if you are offended by it, that's perfectly fine. That's your right. But I wasn't offended by it. I was just like embarrassed for him, and not because like the issue is, if there's anything that I hate, it's people who are way too full of themselves. It's why I despise people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk and stuff like that. And apparently Kanye West deserves to be in that category. To call wearing the shirt brilliance. No, the issue is what you did. There was a stroke of genius to you, was to put a slogan on a shirt that white supremacists were wearing 3 years ago. It's so behind the times. It's so like, was it genius if Candace Owens was a part of it, honestly? Like, no, that's a serious question to Kanye West, because Kanye West probably likes Candace Owens or whatever. Does he think that she's a genius like he is? And yet he has been brought down to her level. And so just this mediocrity, this mediocre performance art for 80-year-old white racists, it's not genius, it's not brilliance, it's not anything that anyone else couldn't do. It's just things that most people wouldn't want to do because it's so pathetic. And so I wasn't offended, I was embarrassed for him. And he really needs to spend a lot more time not seeking the camera, because he doesn't do well for himself when he's on it.